We are hitting some heavy hitters today.
This is the most important time.
Should I use machines or are they not functional?
And they're like, what idiot decided to do this? And I was like, well, that was me.
That's a different kind of embarrassing. Great question. I love that question.
You have to be really smart. If you're a serious golfer, in-season training can mess you up.
Oh, this question comes in hot all the time.
You see, you're too strong to play golf. Your muscles are too big. I'm like, I just hit the putt too hard.
People that work out are just more mobile.
We are more mobile.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Swing Fast podcast.
Welcome everybody to our awesome show today.
We're extra green today because of the overcast, I think.
I've been playing with the lighting.
Oh, good. You're the lighting master. You helped with the lighting in our photo shoot yesterday.
Well, he did something different with it. He was all about the white light, and I've been going with the soft light. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I think we had to do it. Our gym has like a really harsh. Those lights are like white, so he has to like counterbalance that. I feel like if you introduce too many colors, maybe gets funky.
Yeah. I mean, he's a professional, so he had it angled a different way. He had different color of the light, and we're going to try it.
By the way, we're talking about Trent. He's at, what's his, PMC?
Yeah, Pollard Media Company.
Yeah, Pollard Media Company here in Tulsa, or he's out in Catoosa.
Yeah, if you guys need anyone. He mainly does real estate photos.
But he's done some shoots for us.
Yeah, they're really good. He does really great pictures, which if you guys follow us, I assume you're also on our email list, which is where you're going to see most of the pictures we took.
And that's where we started our podcast. It was his studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Trent.
Yeah, go
he's been
back
in our life for a couple of years.
Yeah, go back to our very first few episodes, and that was in his studio.
Yeah.
So, and he produced it for us.
Yeah.
That was when I was really. You've always been kind of more natural at this, and I wasn't, and I'd mess up all the time, and we'd stop in the middle of the podcast and be like, "Trent, please edit that out. That was awful."
You did good. I think you were just being a harsh critic to yourself. Maybe it just also felt more formal because we were in like a studio.
I don't know. I was also just nervous. I don't know why.
Now you're a pro.
Well, I'm getting better, but yeah, I wouldn't call myself a pro. But I mean, we're 100 episodes in probably, or no?
I
70?
think 70, 68, something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like everything. When I go back and look at my very first social media posts, they were almost embarrassing, which I think you still laugh at one of them to this day, the one with the stork turns.
Oh, well, that's just straight up. Okay, but that's a different kind of embarrassing. Like, there's just like the kind of cringe where you're like, oh, the things that I said. And that's just a funny ass move. Like, if you did that now, I would still think it's equally as embarrassing.
Well, no, then I threw the club down too and just like.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to link some of those. I actually want to link the stork turn video for people to be able to also go back and be entertained. I hope you don't program stork turns. You probably do.
No, the worst thing I've programmed recently is I kind of regret it now.
That hip thrust thing.
Yeah,
the
pelvic tilts with a dumbbell holding in front of you. After one of my clients wrote, he's a person that does lift heavy swing fast, so I call them all my clients or athletes. He wrote in, he's like, I took my daughter to the gym and she ran across the gym and saw me do this exercise and said, if you ever do that in public again, I will disown you. So, and then I showed it to Erika. She was like, well, how bad is it? And I showed her, she was like, oh my God, don't ever do that again.
Yeah. And it's coming from someone who no fucks in the gym, but it's just like nobody wants to see an old guy doing that. Sorry. Nobody wants to see any guy doing that.
Well, the thing is, it was in the program multiple times for that current cycle that we were doing, and I had done it myself in our own gym, and I never thought twice about it, not once.
Well, that's what we love about you, but yeah, I guess check today's show notes for lots of golf fitness porn on.
Don't say that word; you might get us they might ban us or something if you say that.
No, but anyway, today's topic is our favorite kind of topic, the Q&A episodes. We always love to do these. It's probably our 5th, 6th one just this season? No. I guess we've only done a couple this season, but we've done like 10 of these.
Oh yeah, I love them just because it's obviously exactly what people are asking. So it's
what the people are asking. We're at a time of transition. This is just in general, we're going into spring. The weather's starting to get a little bit better everywhere. So we're kind of transitioning from coming out of winter type training and just winter type habits and life and going out and starting to play more golf. Mm-hmm. We got the Masters around the corner. When this episode airs, I think it'll be a couple weeks out.
Yeah, we just finished up the Players Championship, or it's already the Sunday after. So,
yeah, we're in Valspar right now. We're already a week after that.
Yeah.
Well, not even a week because they had to play till Monday last weekend.
Yes.
So Anyway, all of the things. So I'm going to probably be the one spearheading, asking these questions since a lot of these are in your wheelhouse today.
Okay, I kind of scribbled them down. Hopefully you can read. We were very high tech on this podcast. I wrote them on a Post-it note.
Yeah, well, for those that maybe we haven't podcasted since the puppy, so maybe we should also just throw that out there. But we got a new puppy. He's screaming right now outside trying to go through the crate training experience, but he's almost 11 weeks. So it's really hard if you've ever had a puppy to like leave your puppy alone for any amount of time. So you can't really just chill out and do a podcast for an hour. So it's been a little bit. We're going through training, and Cody's had to rearrange his office, so we don't have his computer normally like is set up sometimes for our show notes or things like that. But we don't have that today.
I've had to relocate to our dining room so my puppy won't be on my carpet in my office peeing all over it. And then I really hope that the sound from the puppy crying in the opposite room is not
it's fine.
going to be picked up here on this podcast.
No, it's literally fine. So anyway, Q&A episode today. These are really good questions. I'm excited. I can read your handwriting. It's totally fine. I'm going to just have to do my best making them into questions. Sometimes they're not complete.
Yeah, sometimes sentences. I just write down thoughts because people ask the questions in totally different ways.
Totally.
And then I just consolidate it.
But anyway, so in the spirit of going into spring, and we really just went into spring solstice. Is that right?
I have no idea.
Spring equinox.
We had daylight saving time.
Spring solstice. Anyway, spring. It's spring. The first question is, and I know you've been getting a lot of chatter about this, and we've been seeing this too in our programming as far as like what people are switching into. How to transition from off-season to in-season training. Or maybe not even off-season training. Maybe some people do a completely different, maybe they're not really off-season golf fitness training, and maybe they're just kind of off and they're going into in-season training.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to start with right there is I think the off-season training, it's equally, both season, off-season and in-season are equally important. You can get away with, you can pretty much do different stuff in the off-season. I obviously write programs that I think are better, but you could have gotten away with doing bodybuilding all off-season technically. You could have done some powerlifting. That probably would have been better than bodybuilding. You could have had a little more fun with your training, in the off-season. I think you have to be a little bit smarter when you get to the season, managing fatigue, soreness, so you can play your best. Obviously in-season means you're going to be out there playing more. So there's more things you got to manage, more variables that you got to take into consideration when you're creating a program. And when we talk about transitioning from off-season to in-season, so what we're doing in Lift Heavy Swing Fast right now, and I won't go into like all the nitty-gritty because I don't really think we need to in this podcast, but when we go, I've been following like the force velocity curve. Okay, so in the off-season, and the force velocity curve on one end is really heavy weights moving relatively slow all the way to moving really fast at the other end. So I like to go in the off season is where we're lifting heavy. It's a very grindy workout. You're going to failure. And your focus is just on getting strong. Always in golf, we're always trying to stay mobile. So there's always that element of mobility in every single workout, in season and off season. But the big bias is towards like more fatiguing, strength training, more volume. In the off season. Now we're transitioning, so we're following the curve, and so we go through strength speed, then you go to power, then it's speed strength, not to be confused with strength speed. You got to interchange those, and then into speed training. So we're like right in the middle of it now. We're in power training, which means we're doing like a moderately heavy weight, and we're trying to move it really fast. And then the next cycle will be lowering the weight again and moving it really fast, and then it'll be like really top end speed. Now, I think it's important that you don't neglect, because I said we're lifting heavy weights in the off season, we're still going to lift heavy weights, okay? It's just you're biasing towards moving things a little bit faster, and when you do it in the workout. So I still put heavy resistance training in the workout. It's just the main bulk of it is changing a little bit. And then as we get even more like deep into the season, we do contrast training. So you're still lifting heavy, but load management and fatigue plays a massive role, right? Like you were going, really close to failure in the off season, which is very fatiguing on your central nervous system and the body. And then during the season, you're lifting those heavy loads, but you're not going anywhere near failure. So it doesn't feel as taxing to you. You're pairing that with a speed exercise. So you're able to manage your soreness, because no one likes playing golf when they're sore. You're not going to play well, or tired.
It's the worst.
Yeah, you're not going to be sore or tired is not a recipe for great golf, period. And you can still get amazing results not being sore and tired.
There's another way to think about in season too, and just hearing you articulate it in that way, like shorter rest periods, because obviously, again, when you're going to failure and doing heavier loads, like you're taking those more intentional, like 2 to 3 minute rests in between, and like that's a little more breathy in the in season because you're going maybe a little bit lighter, so you can kind of go a little bit quicker, 30 seconds to 60-second rest in between, or like a supersets type stuff, just generally?
When we do the contrast training, we will like kind of drop the rest periods down. But right now, since our goal is speed, that is taxing in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So if you're moving the weight fast, that central nervous system taxing, you have to give that a couple minutes to recover too.
Yeah, true.
So like the last cycle was called strength speed. That was like your 2 to 3 minutes of rest. Kind of cut that down a little bit by like a minute in this cycle and the next cycle. And then when we get really close into speed, that's when we're just going to superset them together, like kind of what you're talking about, where it'll be very low to no rest between the 2 exercises or 4 exercises when we do French contrast training.
Yeah.
Which is
fun. I just noticed when I'm doing the programming, it's just in general in seasons can be a little just more breathy.
Yeah.
But again, like from the power perspective, that's part of that too.
Yeah, if you're doing it right, yes.
Yeah.
If you're not moving the weight very fast, it won't be as taxing, and that's one thing that's always very challenging for people getting into mainly in-season programming is like they don't really feel that they don't really feel it as much. Like your body's not going to be as taxed, right? Like you will get a little breathy, but it won't feel like you're not able to do another rep or something like that. So like restraining people, saying, hey, the goal is speed, not doing this until you can't do it anymore.
Do you think ego gets in the way, especially with guys, like in terms of like, because when you do speed training, I think you have to lighten your load a considerable amount to get the real impact of it. And in fact, if you're new to speed training, you probably should, so you can actually know how fast your body can explode in a squat or whatever the movement is. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, oh, well, I'm usually squatting 315. Why the fuck would I take it down to 135?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's actually where you probably, or less or whatever, like to get to that like very explosive, fast movement.
Yeah. And you got to be efficient too. So, obviously you need to be relatively efficient to lift really heavy weights, but you also need to be efficient to move them fast.
Yes.
Too. And I think, right now in our current cycle, I got things in there like thrusters and sumo deadlift high pulls, which a lot of people, like, I don't know what my 1 rep max is of a dumbbell, thruster anymore, especially with dumbbells. Sure. I chose dumbbells over the barbell for most people just because it's much easier. And we're not going for like a max load. So you can probably find a pair of dumbbells that fits you and it's just easier to hold and easier to manage. But yeah, like if you somehow knew, I think CrossFit used to have you do a 1 rep thruster every once in a while.
Not that wasn't a frequent one, but yes, that would be a CrossFit thing to go do.
Yeah, so maybe if you know what that is, we're working at like 50% of that right now.
Right.
50 to 70%. I give people reps and set options. So you could do 5 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 5. Obviously with the 5 sets of 3, it takes longer to get the workout done because you have to rest between each, and that's where the bulk of the workout will add up for a lot of people is rest intervals, which a lot of programs don't even put in there, like when to rest and how to rest and where to load and things like that. So you're kind of just going all willy-nilly and just doing whatever. So yeah, if you're doing like sets of 3, you could probably go for like 70% or something, 65, 70%. If you're going like sets of 5, you're going to be more in that like lower end, the 50, 55%, something like that.
Cool.
So yeah, I think what's important and what I just talked to a new client I signed up a couple days ago is in-season training, you have to be really smart. If you're a serious golfer, in-season training can mess you up if you don't do it right, unfortunately. Because if you just go do your same old stuff, and I always pick on bodybuilding just because it's so easy, but if like you're just going to do your normal bro splits and be super sore, you don't need me to tell you that that's going to affect your game negatively.
And it lasts for a couple of days. CrossFit, all those. If you're not doing it right, you're not impacted that day or the day after. You're impacted for several days after.
Right. If you do it right. Yeah. Right. So then if you're not doing it right, you're not doing it
right.
You're not doing it right.
Right.
So,
right.
I think, so that's, because people sign up with me for like my elite player program and they're like, I just want to make sure like, this is the right time to make this investment in myself and in my programming, even though it's in season. I'm like, this is the most important time. Because again, you can kind of get away with messing around in the off season as long as you're like training hard. You're going to get results, but we just got to be smart in the in season, especially if you're traveling. If you are someone that's playing tournaments, you've got to really dial it in with your travel, with time changes, with your nutrition, what you have available to work out, how much time you have, how to pair that with your golf and with your rest days. Make sure you're getting all of that in. It's definitely a time to really hire a professional, period.
Boom.
There we go.
All right, next question. Let's keep this moving along. That was great. Question number 2. Should I use machines or are they not functional? Or should I say not functional enough?
Yeah.
And then we have to ask compare to what?
Right.
I love this question.
Do you want me to lead this one off? since you asked. So
I'm going to ask all of them so you can lead off all of them, and I'll just piggyback off of all of your amazing, great thoughts. I mean, listen, like, you're the expert here at this stuff, but I mean, the fast answer is like, machines are great.
Right.
That's what I'll say to that, but we can go in. I'll let you unpack that.
So let me just do a quick backstory, not to get off on too long of a tangent. I used to be a regional fitness manager of a few gyms in Washington, D.C. called Washington Sports Clubs. And I had the opportunity to really get some new equipment into a gym one time. And this was 2017, 2018, when it was like kind of like peak CrossFit, peak functional fitness, quote unquote, right? And everyone was like really, the trend was get off of machines because they're not functional, go towards the barbell and free weights only, right? And I worked at a big box gym, like your Gold's Gym. And I fought really hard, and I got rid of like half of the machines in the gym and swatched it out with like a giant rig and barbells and weightlifting platforms. The members were pissed. Like most of them were pissed. And they're like, what idiot decided to do this? And I was like, well, that was me. At the time, using the knowledge that I had, we thought it was the best thing you should do for people is get them out of sitting down. The machines is not functional. They can't use that. They can't carry that strength over or whatever it is they're building on that machine into real life. And we were wrong. I was wrong. Like straight up. And I think there was a few things that went into that. And one, I think a lot of what we do, a lot of things that are out there are being marketed to people. And I think personal trainers were told to market this, like get people out of the machines because then they're going to need you without saying that directly to you. Was like, hey, you don't want people sitting on the machines because they can do that. They can read the instructions. It's really basic. They sit on that machine and they press, right? They don't need your help for that. And so like the thing was like, if you want to sell someone personal training, you show them all these other things that you need to do. I don't want to necessarily call it a scare tactic, but I think that was one of the things that was taught to people is like, get them out of the machine so that way we can sell them something else. When in reality, what's functional is like what serves a function, right? Like does strength serve a function? Absolutely. Is sitting on a machine when you're super stable and pushing really hard on that machine and not having to worry about the weight falling on you or you hurting yourself, creating the function of strength? 100%.
Yes. This is where I always like to interject. I mean, listen, I do think machines are really valuable, but the argument that I have for this in terms of machines versus free weights is that machines don't teach people to move correctly. I think machines are really good. Like if there's a bell curve, machines are really good for like an injured elderly situation where you can like modify using a machine, or the extreme advanced athlete who knows how to isolate their body, an advanced bodybuilder, someone who's been training for a really long time, someone who does use the barbell a lot, but like wants to isolate a muscle group like on the ends of the bell curve. But like the majority of people need to be learning with free weights. And so I don't know if you agree or disagree or whatever. I'm not saying what you're saying. I absolutely understand and agree with, and I align with that. But I think what the barbell and what free weights can teach you is that your body is all one unit and you should be learning how to use it all as one unit. And that's when I hear the word functional, which is completely bastardized and overused today. Like it's just blah, 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 blah everywhere. Everybody's touting it, whatever. And it has no more meaning anymore. It's literally just a buzzword like organic on your fucking food label. Functional to me just kind of means like you're learning how to use your full body. Because again, like we've seen those videos, I'm sure if you haven't, like on Instagram or whatever, of like what if gym people if movements in real life were a gym movement or whatever, they're like picking up something and they like deadlift picking up like the trash bag and they're just kind of doing it, or single leg deadlifting the trash bag, or just everyday movements. We obviously don't move in that kind of robotic way every day, but at the same time, if you've been going to the gym for 5 years and all you're doing is leg extensions on the machine and chest pressing, vertical, horizontal chest press, fully supported, you're never learning to brace your core. You're not really learning how to, hinge your hips appropriately. Like all these things that we learn that do pertain to like how we move in real life. And so I think machines, again, if we're talking about elderly clients that are just trying to get strong and they're doing nothing to doing something, like a machine is a great way to not injure them and to introduce them to strength training. Or if you're nursing an injury, hey, I can't squat, but I can leg press, or I can do the hack squat machine or whatever. great. Like those things are great. And then again, if you're just always functional all the time and you have certain weaknesses that you compensate for when you're using your full body, that's where I think that machines can be really beneficial.
Right.
Again, it's not black and white. Instagram will try to make us feel like it is, and it's a very hard yes or no. I think you should do a little bit of both. I think you should learn how to do a little bit of both. But that's kind of my stance on machines. I think, I generally learned how to strength train using free weights. Like if you're without any crazy injury, you can totally move the right way and you won't hurt yourself even if you move not the best way. You get there. Like that's how you learn. That's how you create better mobility. Because again, you're doing full range of motion. You're able to control that range of motion. The free weights move with your body, as machines are a little bit more restrictive. If you don't know what that means, compare a Smith machine to a going on a squat rack. Those two are very different movements. If you're squatting on one versus not, doesn't mean one isn't effective. It's just they're different. And I don't know. I'm just a big proponent of like using your body. I've just always been this way with training. Like your body is a machine. You should treat it like it is, and that's how you should train it. That's how I like to train.
Yeah, I mean, our home gym is full of free weights. We didn't buy a bunch of machines.
We got cables. We got reverse hyper.
Cables are a little
I'm not going to say we don't have machines. I know cables are a little bit different, but again, like if we had more, but a home gym, again, you're not going to fill it up with machines. You got limited real estate too, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing too. If you want the ultimate flexibility, like, man, I love to be able to go to a hotel gym that has 4 sets of dumbbells and I can crush a full body workout 7 different ways. I don't have to rely on machines to tell me what to do.
Right.
I do 7. We could probably do a month work of workouts in a hotel with a few dumbbells, whatever. But, it's a little bit more practical. So that's what functional means to me. And I think that, machines are not valueless or whatever I'm trying to say. They have a lot of value. They definitely bring a lot of value. I wish we could have more machines in our home gym. It's just not really worth the space.
Well, I think also this is a trend where people are like, hey, don't be so anti-machines. And I think it's a course correction because there's so many exercises out there that are super unstable, really challenging looking, and actually not just looking, they are actually really challenging. If you're going to balance on one leg and do this and do that, it's very it's just you can't load it. And so when people are talking about, hey, if we're just trying to just get really strong in this particular movement that we're working on, a machine serves a good purpose because you are super stable while you do it. So I think that's part of it. It's just we've gone so far off the deep end on this super crazy movements that's like, hey, we can still get a lot of value from this basic ass machine.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm not here standing up for the single leg bar bicep curl on a Bozu ball situation when I'm saying functional. Cause like you could argue, oh, that's, you're engaging all the fucking things doing that. And it's like, okay. But that's where, again, to your point, we're just getting so far removed from that shit. Like that's really not going to carry over into anything besides like being a doofus at the gym.
Yes. Being a big doofus.
Being a big doofus.
Big floppy doofus.
So great question. I love that question. We could make a whole podcast about that, but maybe we just did. There we go.
I think we made a good one.
Moving on to question 3. Best exercises for back pain. Oh, this question comes in hot all the time.
Well, to build off of actually talking about machines, this came from a guy messaging me like, hey man, I see you got the reverse hyper. I want to get one of those for my back pain. I'm like, well, do you have any idea what's going on with your back pain? Instead of just picking this one thing and just trying that. So my short answer to like, what's the best exercise for back pain is there's no one exercise. You need to figure out the reason that you're having this back pain.
Well, there's also your back's massive. Most people it means lower back. Most people,
it means
right?
lower back,
but
typically.
Sometimes it can mean mid back, upper back.
Yeah, most people it's lower back. What's your training like? What is causing this injury? And why don't we, instead of, because this person just wanted to buy stuff, and we always joke about this, we got in the wrong business, should have just sold stuff instead of sold fitness plans. But the fitness plan is 10 to 100 times more valuable than your one piece of equipment that you're going to and buy.
Teach a man to fish.
Right. And it's like, well, this piece of machinery that we're talking about, the reverse hyper, does one exercise. Does it well. It's a really good thing for lower back pain. Like, don't get me wrong there. That's why we got it, because strengthen our low backs and glutes and all this great stuff that the machine does. But instead of just trying to cherry pick something like that, and this person's not doing a program right? To really address everything that could be going on. I mean, the cause of your back pain, if it's coming from the golf swing, there's something you're doing wrong in your golf swing, right? And it could be anywhere between your ankles, your wrists, and your neck, and everywhere in between could be causing you to create some compensation in your swing that now the victim is going to be your low back. It could be your hips, it could be your thoracic spine. So instead of just trying to treat just the, I guess it's just the symptom, right? We should be taking care of the whole body. We should be training the hips. We should train the ankles. We should be training the core, training the torso, training the shoulders, because one of those could be the reason. So do everything. And that's why, even if someone comes to me and well, let me put it this way. When I do assessments with people and I figure out exactly what their major problems are in their body, it doesn't mean I don't work on everything else too. It's not like, oh, hey, you got great shoulders. We're never going to do a single shoulder mobility exercise or a shoulder strengthening exercise because yours are great. Nothing is ever going to happen to them. We still do everything. We just make sure we hit certain areas a little bit more until they catch up. But don't just try to target just one particular exercise or one movement. You've got to treat everything.
Totally. I mean, you could look at this if it's analogous to like a food, or it's like, you're not thinking, what's the one food that's going to make me feel better or make me healthier or make me lose weight. It's like there's going to be like a culmination of things. It's like let's get to the root cause of like what's the issue that you're having. Mm-hmm. Like what are you deficient in as far as nutrients, or what's your goal? There's going to be like obviously like a lot of layered approach to that. So maybe if that doesn't land with people from an exercise perspective, thinking about it in that way is kind of another way to just look at it.
And I get it. I mean, if you have low back pain, it's a giant pain in the ass, I would assume. I have other pains that's also like the top of your mind, right? Like my elbows. Like all I care about is like fixing my elbows sometimes. But like don't just, I know you're hyper focused on that, but like treat everything. Treat the whole body. It may not just be that particular area.
Well, I think about it too from even wider lens is like, again, what's the lifestyle looking like with the low back pain too? You know, how much are you sitting all day? Like exercising, again, we love it. It's very helpful. It can strengthen all of the things to make things better. But if we're doing something 99% of the time throughout the week and we're only working out 1% of the time, like what's your mattress like? How are you sleeping? Are you getting enough sleep? Like there's just so many things that people need to start to consider too when it comes to this stuff, that like as much as you want to rely on one exercise or one machine or one supplement, like it's rarely that simple.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one. I wasn't expecting it to go that direction, but it did. Okay. Our final question. This one might be hard for me to read. Oh, okay. What's the first step for beginners? We are hitting some heavy hitters today.
I know. Well, this came from one of our Lift Heavy Swing Fast athletes.
Are they a noob?
No, he's not.
Oh.
His question was, or his suggestion for a podcast topic, because I asked him for podcast topics every once in a while. If you're a Lift Heavy Swing Fast athlete, please hit me up with podcast topics. His thing was, hey, I played with a group of guys today. None of them work out. They're interested, but they'd be total beginners. What should I tell them to do? That's kind of how this came along.
Interesting. Okay, well, the important part of that question is that they said they were interested. Because we all know if you're trying to influence anybody in this regard, save your breath. The best thing for anybody who's trying to influence their mom or their dad or somebody in their life where they're like, I wish they could have more healthy habits or get into fitness, is just to lead by example and wait for them to come to you. That is number one. It is not a very good idea, unless there needs to be a serious health intervention or something, to just accost someone and say like, hey, I think you should do this workout. Usually it's got to be a little bit of like, wow, you're looking really good, or you're glowing, or wow, you move so well in your golf swing. Like, what are you doing? And then that's like well, here we go, and this is what I'm doing. And then you can start to have that conversation.
I think also he said something along the lines like maybe they were slightly intimidated too.
Fair.
Which I think that could come from a few different places. Like if you are just looking up golf workouts on Instagram, you're not seeing a lot of basic stuff. You're seeing a lot of the really fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that the influencers out there, maybe myself included, like you kind of get caught up in like showing off some stuff that looks really cool, when really like we should probably just show people, hey, it's just a lot of it is just the basic stuff that you would do, that you see most people do at the gym, that you saw years ago. That stuff is still very important. Your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, your pull-ups, and things like that. And we have a foundations program too. Like if you're just wanting to get in, if you haven't been in fitness for a while or anything like that, and you're just wanting to get started, that's an excellent place to get going. We have an all access program now where you can have access to that. And then when you're done, you can jump into the next thing. But yeah, I've never seen someone or heard of someone that started doing a fitness program no one has ever gotten worse at golf. It never negatively impacted their golf swing. It only makes you better. So I know that stigma was out there for a long time with the old guys like Gary Player. He's like almost 90 now. When he started working out, people were like, oh, you're a moron. You are going to ruin your swing. And I think that still lives on just a little bit in certain people.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there would be guys. I mean, when I go out to the golf course, people tell me I'm too big sometimes to play golf. I know, laugh, right?
It's wild.
Or it's usually when I run a putt too long or something like that. They're like, you're too strong to play golf. Your muscles are too big. I'm like, I just hit the putt too hard.
Well, it's just funny because like the big thing is so hilarious to me because it's like I'm not gonna get it. I am gonna get into this a little bit, but it's like if you're a dude and you have 25-30% body fat, like
you're too big.
You're too big. You're too big for all of the reasons. Like so, my 170-pound lean husband is not too big for playing golf.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say on that topic for now. But anyway, yeah, I mean, okay, so interesting. I didn't realize that stigma was really still out there. I know people like to make excuses, like they love to throw the what's his name, John Daly. Like, I know that's a different thing where they're, I don't need to work out. I can. He smokes and drinks and whatever. Yeah. But I didn't really realize there was still like a. People don't do it because it's gonna affect. That could just also be people's crutch or excuse.
Oh yeah,
like that's an easy one to just say. Well, I don't need to work out. I golf. And then I chow down on 4 hot dogs and drink a 6-pack.
Yeah.
At the same time too. Whatever.
Well, I think I get when I'm out there. I think if you have muscle, it can almost like appear that you're stiff because your muscles are just bigger. In the golf swing sometimes, like. And I'm short, so like I'm stocky, I guess you could say, whatever. So people always like, well, I don't want to get tight because like just because you have muscles, you can kind of look like you're tighter, I think, and probably because you don't have like some loose stuff flying around, if you know what I'm saying.
But again, people that work out are just more mobile.
We are more mobile. Like if we want to like actually like dive into the swing and like see how a fit person turns and moves and how much hip depth they have and how much torso rotation and how much pelvic tilt they have, like it's going to be a lot more than someone who doesn't exercise. I would guarantee it.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you're an office warrior and you're sitting on your couch when you're not playing golf, I mean, you don't move well. I've seen it. Like y'all aren't moving very well. Yeah.
I mean, every pro works out now. Even people are talking about like, the Shane Lowrys and like the Neil Shipleys. Those guys are in the gym. They just also enjoy food a little bit too.
Yes, they certainly do. They do. But again, like that's being in the gym and working out is better for their overall health. So it's like, it's okay if they have a little bit of something, which a lot of golfers do.
And so if you're a beginner, I think I kind of want to conclude with this. Like you don't have to work out that much. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be that complicated. You could probably do 30, 45 minutes.
Once or twice a week, I was going to say.
Yeah, once, twice, 3 times a week for a bonus.
Yeah.
And you would see amazing results. We have a program for that. I just created a free week of it that you can download without like it's just an email. All I need is your email address and I'll send it to you. You don't have to like give me your credit card or any shit like that. Just an email address, free week of workouts. You can see what it's like.
I'll link the free week in the show notes for this episode too.
So absolutely no barrier there as far as that goes. Give it a shot. Minimal equipment. I think it's bands and dumbbells and pull-up bar maybe, or you can do rows instead. So bands, dumbbells, your body weight, you're good to go, and it's absolutely free.
Yeah, that's a really good program, and you've iterated that a couple times, so it's like peak of the peak right now.
Yeah,
because we've had the foundations program for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, listen, and the last thing I'll add to just before we wrap up this episode, which is good episode. Don't worry about what other people think of you in the gym. Like, yeah, there might be people staring at you or you might feel like they are, but also everyone else is worried about themselves in the gym too. So just like know that even the most confident looking ripped person in the gym might be one of the least confident inside people. Mm-hmm. I just think it's important to think about that. Like, just like everything else, people are just trying to do them and stay in their own lane. And that's all you should probably do at the gym too.
Yeah. Good people only care about themselves. I mean, they're not there to judge you. If someone is judging you, it's because they feel bad about themselves and they're trying to make themselves feel better by making fun of whatever it is that you're doing.
That's exactly right.
So fuck them.
Fuck them. And on that note, Great. Yeah. So liftheavyswingfast.com, guys, to links to all of our programs. You can sign up for our newsletter and get access to all of the free downloads and stuff that Cody's putting out as of late. But I'll also be linking that stuff in the show notes, of course, today. And with that, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.